Hey guys, it's Z from Build the Business You Love. And forgive me, my voice is kind of in and out. My kids got me sick, so what else is new, right? But anyway, this video is actually for all of my event space, future event space owners and aspiring event space owners. And this one pertains to questions that you need to ask about zoning and permits and C of O before actually signing a lease. Because I'm seeing a lot of people going and signing leases and then coming out of it only to find out that they cannot have an event space there. It is not zoned for that. It's not permitted and it cannot be permitted for that. They have different permits that you can get on a case by case basis. But those are kind of hit and miss. You have to go through a whole process, go before the community board meetings and all of that stuff. But we want to make sure that the places and the commercial spaces that you are interested in, you can actually have an event space there. You can't just look through the window and say, yeah, this looks good. The space is big enough and think, yeah, I can actually have my business here, because the powers that be, as I call them, can tell you no. Okay. So we're going to go really quickly through these 20 questions. I feel like what's his name? 50 Cent, the song 21 Questions. So I said, let me do 20 questions and go through these questions. By the way, guys, you can grab this document in my, or I should say on my website, and you could also grab it through a link that I'll have somewhere around here, probably in the comments or in the description of this video, okay? So let's get into it. Let me scroll down here. I'm not going to go all into that. Um, Question one, and I probably won't go over all of these questions because, like I said, you can download it. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of some of the types of questions that you need to be asking. Okay. What specific permits are required for operating an event-based business in this county? And we're talking about the county and the city level on the local level. We're not talking about on the state level. We're not talking about on the federal level, because remember, it's levels to this, okay? So we're talking about on the local level. These are our local level questions, and these are the level that handles all of the zoning, the permit, the C of O issues, okay? Can you provide a checklist for all the necessary documents needed for the permit application process? A lot of times they have, sometimes on their website, some counties don't have anything at all on their website. So you have to ask them specifically, hey, could you give me a list of the things that I need to get the permitting process going, so I can at least start thinking about, things like cost, what goes into it, things like, the time and effort that I need to put into these applications, and to see if this idea is feasible in my particular county. Are there any zoning restrictions or special considerations for event spaces in this area? A lot of counties and cities are implementing new regulations because we see it, right? Event spaces are popping up everywhere. These businesses are it's a lucrative business and people are opening up left and right. So a lot of times I've seen a lot of zoning restrictions specifically for event spaces in certain areas. How long does a permit application process typically take? Now, that is an important question. When you're planning your project, when you're planning your opening, you need to know timelines, okay? What are the things that goes into project management? Time, money, right? And you need to know all of these things before you head into your business project. Are there any specific safety regulations or guidelines for my event space that I should be aware of? Okay, what fees are associated with obtaining permits and certificates of occupancy at the C of O, okay, for an event-based business? Sometimes you have to change a lot of things. Some people or professionals may be required to come in. Okay, you need to know this. You need to know what it's going to look like for your pockets. You need to know how to anticipate, for these little things that may pop up, okay, because things can pop up. What was I? Are there any particular building codes that I need to comply with for my event space? Can you guide me through the inspection process and highlight key areas that inspectors typically focus on? Sometimes they may focus on one or two areas and they don't tell you until they get there, and you don't have those areas prepared the way they want you to prepare them. Okay. These are things that you need to ask. Are there restrictions on the maximum occupancy for event spaces in this county? And how is that determined? Sometimes it's determined by the parking spaces. Sometimes it's determined by the bathroom. Sometimes it's determined by the square footage. Sometimes it's all of the above and then some. So, or even the means of egress. So all of these things may be factors or variables that determine the maximum C of O and the amount of people that can be inside of this particular commercial space. What is the renewal process? If necessary, are there noise or time restrictions for the events? Now, people don't realize that a lot of counties have noise restrictions. They have time, they impose time limits on certain things. You may even have to get a permit for the garbage in certain counties. Okay. So you need to know all of these things. What about can you address ADA and Disability Act for compliance for your event space? Now, a lot of people don't realize that American Disabilities Act is enforceable. Okay. And the counties that do enforce them, they will go after you if you don't have that ramp, if you don't have handles or grip handles, if you don't have the bathroom spaced out the way it needs to, so a wheelchair can get in and out and go to the enough space to go from the toilet to the sink to the door. Those things are important. And the last thing you want to do is to go and sign a lease and put down a deposit and money on an event space, on a commercial space, and you have to redo the whole bathroom, and it wasn't part of your budget, it wasn't part of your plan, and you have to make it ADA compatible. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go into all of these questions. There are 20 questions here. I do encourage you to go ahead and check them out. On my website, buildthebusinessthelletteryouLove.com. I'm going to click it here so you can see what it looks like. BuildthebusinessyouLove.com. I want you to click on free guides and templates. And I'm putting a bunch of other templates and e-guides, guides periodically throughout this month and the course of the next few months. So be sure to check back. But there's a bunch of guides and free downloads that you can go to, like what goes into an event space business, a free event space startup and checklist spreadsheet so you can understand what costs are needed versus what costs, and this is actual versus expected. So this is what that spreadsheet looks like, a goal planner as well as a social media content planner, so you could start to plan that social media content. So I have a bunch of freebies here. I want you guys to be sure to check them out. BuildthebusinessthelletteryouLove.com is the website. BuildthebusinessyouLove.com. Be sure to check it out. And of course, I also have the event space course, if you guys are interested in that teaches you, I'm talking from the nitty to the it teaches you everything you need to know with regard to starting. It's affordable and it's beginner friendly, and it teaches you, everything that you will need to know about zoning, about C of O process, about funding. I even have a free preview, guys, right here on how to set up an LLC for your event space to get you started. Okay. So be sure to check it out. And this is a list of all the things that the course goes into: getting a DUNS number, EIN number, setting up your business bank account, getting a business email address and phone number. Oh, that's my alarm. Actually finding a space and what goes into finding a space. And this is the finding a space portion. What's necessary as far as C of O, permitting, how do you actually secure a lease? What's the things you need, such as a letter of intent, managing the space, the things you need to buy, floors, paint, colors, all of that stuff, marketing, digital marketing, emails, hashtags, even the grand opening and emails and follow-up emails, operations. It goes into a bunch of stuff. It even has a Canva mini course guide. So be sure to check out this course. It's really affordable. And be sure to check out the freebies. I'm Z for Build the Business You Love. And be sure to download that freebie, that the 20 questions on what to ask inspectors before you sign that lease, because that's super important. And I'm seeing a lot of people getting into situations that they don't need to be getting into. Okay. I'm Z for Build the Business You Love. Be sure to comment any questions you may have, any experiences that you would like to share. I love to read them. And be sure to like and share. Love you guys. Later.